Hello everyone, my name is Shanice and I am a NACA participant, and I just wanted to just share a little bit about my journey in hopes to help people make a decision on whether or not NACA is right for you. I am in California, and so I really wanted to do this video because when I first started this process, I watched videos day in and day out. There were some really helpful videos that helped me make this decision to just do it and to try it out, but there were no videos that I could find of anybody in California or in states where the cost of living is extremely high. So I thought it was important to do one just to really document to see if NACA can really work for those areas. So I originally started the NACA process in April. So April 20th, 2019, I went to a home buyers workshop at one of our local churches where I sat in a 4-hour workshop that went over what NACA is, what the process is to achieve the dream, as they would say. I would say it was very informative. It really has sparked my interest. It had me really intrigued on if this process could really work. And especially for someone like me, I am considered a non-priority member. So my income is over the median for this area, and so my selection will be very limited in where I can move. So I'm really looking forward to videoing this whole process just so people can kind of know what's out there and what's available. So like I said, I went to the workshop April 20th of 2019, and I was really eager to start the process right away and to keep going, but due to my living situation, I live at home with my mother and I was paying rent in cash. So if you're paying rent in cash to any family, any relative, any landlord, stop now. Make sure you're doing money orders or doing a check and you're able to keep receipts of it or proof of it every single month. So that delayed my process a little bit. I was told that I needed to have proof of rent for 12 consecutive months. And so all of my previous places that I stayed before didn't count because I was already at home for 1 whole year. So immediately after that, I switched to writing checks for my mom for my rent so that I will have proof of my payments. And so I did that for 12 months straight. And so finally now, we're May. So May 31st of 2020, I finally hit 12 months of being able to show a consecutive payment for rent. So I signed up for the Achieve the Dream event, which they're holding very frequently right now online due to COVID-19. So one thing I would say during this process is to really get involved in the groups online. So Facebook has been so instrumental in this process. There is a group called NACA Questions. It's spelled out, and then there's a few of them. If you just type in NACA in the sorry, there's a car going by. If you type it in the search engine on Facebook, various groups are going to pop up. There's so many questions. There's so many files that gives examples of how to do things. There are people out there that has gone through this process, and I found the groups to be very friendly, very helpful. So I just started digging. I just started searching. I encourage you to really go to the meetings prepared. So one thing I realized is, like, there's two worlds out there. I've seen a lot of videos that had a lot of negative reviews, or there's a lot of comments about negative things about NACA. But for me, my experience was really awesome from my first meeting with a counselor. And I think that's because I went in prepared. So I met with someone that was based out of Houston, Texas, and she was just really shocked at how much I had going into this meeting. So I had everything uploaded. So everything they tell you to do, my advice is to do it. Your ID, your last 2 years of your taxes, your tax transcripts for the last 2 years, 90 days worth of bank statements, your last 30 days of your pay stubs I had to turn in, a little budget form that's in the book. I filled that out completely and turned it in. I was brutally honest with myself because I just really wanted to know, like, could I do it based off of my spending habits that I currently have? What else did I upload? You have to do like a voter's registration form, proof of residency, your employment information, all those forms you need to upload prior to any debt. So you have to show 90 days worth of statements for any credit cards that you may have. Student loans, you have to upload a form to show what your payment would be based off an income-based repayment plan. So make sure you reach out to your loan company and ask them for that. Upload it. I did my student loans. 403B. So I have a 403B because I'm part of a nonprofit agency. You may have a 401k. Upload that. That really helps as well. So I had all my ducks in a row. Letters of explanation. That's one thing that is constantly talked about in the group. Letters of explanation help explain certain circumstances that may have happened. So I wrote a letter of explanation of why I'm living back at home with my mom. So I just said I'm interested in buying property and I've been paying, rent here for 12 months in the amount of, this amount. And she wrote one as well and signed it. I did letters of explanation for the misspellings of my name on the credit report. So if you see misspellings of your name on there, make sure you're getting that all together. If there's more than one address on your credit report, you want to do a letter of explanation of why. You lived at this place during this time. You lived at this place during this time. This address doesn't belong to me. Just very small explanations. I had to do so many letters of explanations for Cash App, Zelle, and Venmo. So if you use that system, I personally say don't. They say you can get the little Cash App card and that will help you not have to write out all those explanations, but you literally have to be able to account for the money that is coming in and out of your account. And if you're somebody like me and my friends, we go out, we eat, we share food, share calls, things like that. So constantly I was using Cash App. I literally had to write a letter per statement, but those statements were long, full of Cash Apps and withdrawals. Any ATM withdrawals, you have to be able to justify the reason or what the money was for. And maybe just to have cash on hand, you have to write that. So those books are really, those groups on Facebook are really helpful for that. So I did have my first meeting today. It was online due to, like I said, due to COVID-19. I met with a counselor and she said that I was very well organized. I had way more stuff in there than she thought, like I would. She said, you really know your stuff. You really know NACA. And she was like, it's all there. The only thing I needed to do was my payment shock. So your payment shock is something you have to save for 3 months to be able to prove that you can afford the mortgage if your rent is currently lower than what the mortgage rate that you're going for. So say for example, rent may be $1,000 right now and the mortgage that you're going for is $2,500. Well, you have to show the difference of what you're not paying right now for 3 consecutive months so they know you can afford $2,500. So that's something to think about going into it, that you should start doing it so you can show proof every month that you're doing it. Do it in an actual savings account so they can see it on a statement. And then there's something called minimum required funds. They'll let you know what that amount is. So I would just say just start putting money in a savings. For me, it was $8,000. And so luckily I had already started saving something, towards it. And I'm in a position where I'm able to put big chunks of money aside every pay period. So I was put on a plan to come back in 2 months so that I can get qualified and start searching for a home. So, excuse me. Yeah, just make sure like you're just on top of it and you're going into it, ready and prepared. And I also want to say, don't let fear stop you from doing it, because I also felt like I should have did this a long time ago, and I just kept on saying, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. They're going to tell me this, they're going to tell me that. You need them to tell you, because if they put you on the plan, at least you'll know what you need to do. Like, you're not going into this blind, you're not walking this whole thing blind, and it was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. So I would say definitely, sorry, my light went out. I don't know what's happening. Anyways, I would say definitely go and meet with somebody. The sooner the better. Get your action plan and just be responsive and just start working on it. So far, so good for me. I'm saying it is positive. It is possible to do this in California. I was preliminary approved for $500,000 for mortgage, and it's really based off of how much you want to pay a month for your mortgage payment. That's how they determine the amount of the loan. So that's a big factor too. So you got to think about how much is it that you're willing to spend a month in mortgage. So for me, and they do it based off your budget too. So for me, they tell me the most I can afford is $2,800 a month in the mortgage. But for me, I still felt like that was high. I don't want to go over $2,500, and that was on the higher end for me. So at the $2,800, that qualified for a $500,000 mortgage loan. When it went down to $2,500 a month, it was around $455,000. I was told that I can buy down my interest rate, and that will give me more money on my loan as well. So say I only want to have a mortgage of a monthly payment of $2,500, and that only gets me $455,000. If I buy down my interest rate, that $455,000 can go back up to $500,000, but my monthly payment will still stay the same. So that's something to think about too. So far so good. I will say that it's definitely something that can happen in California. A lot of the people in the groups that I'm seeing are in outer areas like Sacramento, Vallejo, Pittsburgh, Fairfield, and then in Southern California. Like I said, I'm here in Northern California in the Bay Area, and so it's really expensive in this area. But so far, I feel like it's working. I will be back in about 2 months. So I go back at the end of July or the beginning of August, where I'm supposed to get my approval letter once I show the 2 months of my shock payment, because I already have one in for May. So I will be back and let you know how it goes. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below, and I will do my best to try and answer them. All right, bye-bye.